So after I got married, the number one thing people would ask was, how is married life? You enjoying married life? And I'd say, well, I'm not divorced yet. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to talk about 10 things you and your partner should discuss before getting married. Let's go. Number one being finances and debt. So with the finances part, when you're married, you may have your own bank account, but you have to be aware that whatever you do affects your household. Whatever you do is going to affect your spouse, your partner. So whether you guys have a joint savings account, whether you guys have a joint account, period, whether you have a savings account separate from what they're doing, you guys need to talk about your finances and how you're going to be able to pay your bills. Is it gonna come out of one account? Are you gonna pay this bill and he's gonna pay this bill? There are so many different ways that you can talk about your finances, but you gotta do it. Also with that, with the finances, is debt. So you have to talk about your student loans. You have to talk about your credit card debt, because once you are legally married, that is both of you all's responsibility. That's something that I had to learn. When we got married, Isaac was like, okay, how are we gonna pay off these student loans? And I was like, I'm not expecting you to do that. But he was like, we are married, your debt is my debt, so how are we going to knock this out? And that's something that you both need to be very mature about, to talk about debt, because it's not an easy subject to talk about. You could have been blowing through all these credit cards in college, and that may be a little embarrassing, but you have to be able to talk to your partner and talk to your spouse about that. So next is living arrangements. Are y'all gonna be living with your mom and dad? Are you going to be in an apartment? You're gonna be in a house? What are y'all gonna do when you get married? Are you gonna rent? Are you gonna own? Are you gonna rent to own? Are you going to buy your house? Are you going to rent your house? There are so many living arrangements that are possible, and you have to talk about when you are going to get married. So for me and Isaac, we lived in two separate cities, and he had just gotten a job in Fayetteville and I was still in Jonesboro. So we had to talk about, where are we going to go? Are we just going to meet in the middle? Are we going to go to Little Rock, or am I going to come to you? Which I ended up doing. I ended up coming to Fayetteville. And instead of us just jumping into getting a house, we got an apartment first. And I feel like that was the best choice for us, because we were able to save money while we were in that apartment, while we were in that 12-month lease. We saved our money so that we'd be able to put a good down payment on the house that we're in now. So another thing that you all need to discuss is religion. Do you guys have the same religion? Are you in separate religions? If you are, who's going to convert? Who's going to switch their religion? That's something that is very important. If you're a believer, if you're a non-believer, if you're an atheist trying to marry someone who's Pentecostal, obviously that's not going to work. So you need to talk about religion and spirituality. Another thing with religion, church services. Are you that I'm gonna go to church, I'm gonna go to the morning service, and I'm gonna go home? Or are you that I'm gonna go to Sunday school, I'm gonna stay for church, I'm gonna go back for second service, I'm gonna go for the anniversary service, I'm gonna go for Wednesday night Bible study, I'm gonna go to Thursday choir, I'm gonna go to Friday night prayer, I'm gonna go to XYZ. Obviously, I am a PK because I'm able to just ramble off all these things, and yes, we went to them all. So when you're talking with your spouse and your partner, is that what y'all are gonna do? You have to know, because it's gonna be a little awkward if I'm going to Sunday service and I was just like, nah, I'm gonna just do, I was about to say vacation Bible school, which you're gonna go to that too, vacation Bible school. But if Isaac's like, no, I'm just gonna go to Wednesday service and I'm gonna go to Sunday school and that's it. Or no, I'm just gonna go to Sunday school and I'm gonna go to the morning service, but I'm not going back for the evening service. That's something that you all need to talk about. So the next thing, you gotta talk about kids. Do you want kids? Yes, no. How many kids? If I'm not able to have babies, if you aren't able to have babies, are we gonna adopt? Are we gonna do a surrogate? Are we going to spend money on in vitro? Are we going to do all these fertility things? You need to be able to discuss those and sit down and actually talk about them, because nobody ever expects to be the one where you're having trouble having a baby or you're having trouble keeping your baby. There are all these different possibilities that can happen, and you need to be able to have a plan with your spouse. So once you have your kids, how are you going to raise them? You're going to raise them in the church? You're not going to raise them in the church. Are you going to punish them? Are you going to whoop them? Are you going to spank them? Are you just going to ground them? Are you going to take their toys? You're going to take their electronics? What are you going to do? How are you going to raise your kids? Because I can't be an enforcer and a punisher and Isaac not, which I feel like it's going to be the other way around, because I don't want to spank though. I don't want to whoop him, but Isaac's like, nah, he going to get. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to take it out. How you raise your kids is very, very important. You have to be on the same page with how you raise your kids. And even though Bo is only 3 months, we still have very different parenting styles. So another thing that you're going to have to discuss is your holidays and gift giving. So starting with the holidays, whose house are you going to spend your holidays at? Are you going to have the 4th of July barbecue at your house and then Labor Day at his house, at their? Are you going to have the 4th of July barbecue at your house and then Labor Day at their house? Are you going to spend Thanksgiving with your people or Christmas with their people? You don't think about that until the holidays are coming up. You expect to be able to be with your family, but your partner also expects to be with their family. So you have to kind of meet in the middle. So with holidays and gift giving, are you going to do joint gifts or are you going to do separate gifts? Because majority of the time, once you're married, everyone's going to give you a household gift. This gift is for the hills. This gift is for your house. So are you going to do the same thing? Are you going to say, this is a gift from us, or is this a gift from me? This is a gift from them. What are you going to do? You also have to know what kind of gifts each other likes. I'm one, I like surprises, but I don't like surprises. I like to know what I'm getting, but then again, I don't really ever know what I want. I still have to tell Isaac what I want from my birthday, and that was in September. So Isaac knows that about me. So he knows to give me options, or he knows to just get what he thinks I would like. Now, vice versa, he knows what he likes. And it's almost going to be something about fishing or hunting or something he can use with his hands, some tools, some sort of something. He doesn't care, but I do. So another thing that you need to discuss is your family health history and mental health. So, when you go to the doctor, they're going to ask you if you have any of these things on your maternal or paternal side: heart disease, Alzheimer's, asthma, cancer, any of these things. They're going to ask you about your health history. So that's something that you and your partner need to talk about as well. If my parent has lung cancer and your parent had breast cancer, that's something that you need to take into consideration. You need to know about each other. If you have an increased chance of cancer, your kids may have an increased chance of any of these problems, any of these cancers or anything like that. So you need to discuss family health history. You need to discuss mental health, your family's mental health, all of these things. You need to discuss them. Depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, etc. These are things that it may be a touchy subject, but you are entitled to know about each other's family. You're entitled to know about each other. And with that being said, going into therapy, are you a supporter of therapy? Do you need therapy? Have you been to therapy? Would you benefit from therapy? Which I feel like almost every person in this world would benefit from some form of therapy. If you are a supporter of therapy, but your if your partner is not a supporter of therapy, then you guys need to meet in the middle. You need to understand why your partner is going to therapy and not think of them any differently. If that's what they need to make it through the day, then you have to support them. So going into the next thing, how can you support each other? You need to discuss that. You need to know how you can support them emotionally. If I'm a person, when I get overwhelmed, I need to be left alone. If my partner doesn't get that and they're steady talking to me, egging me on, then I'm just going to shut down more and they're not going to understand that. So you need to know, if I am in this headspace, what can you do to help me? Do you need to get me out of that headspace? Do you need to give me a minute and let me get myself out of it? How can you help me? So another thing, the love languages. I'm sure everybody is aware of the love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts giving, quality time, and physical touch. I don't want to be touched all the time. And my partner needs to know if I want to be touched or if I don't. If Isaac is steady giving me gifts, buying me food, giving me clothes, giving me all these things, when all I need is quality time, we're not going to see eye to eye. We're not going to be on the same page. So knowing your partner's love languages and how to act on those love languages is super, super important, because you can be thinking that you're doing all the right things when you're doing all the wrong things for your partner. Another thing, confidentiality. And this is something that is very, very, very important. So if you have always been one to tell your parents everything or to tell your friends everything, you can't do that when you're married. There are things that need to stay within your household. There are things that need to stay within your marriage. You don't need to go telling everybody everything that your partner has done that has upset you. You need to be able to go to your partner about those things that have upset you, not everybody else. Now, sometimes there are situations when an outside opinion is warranted and they could help you see the other person's side of the story, or they can help you see where you're actually in the wrong, but not every single little time. You need to be able to differentiate between those situations. And one last thing that you all need to discuss is goals. Where do you see yourself within 6 months of your marriage? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. This can be by your anniversary. This can be your New Year's resolution. You need to talk about your goals. You need to talk about, if you're going to go back to school, what you want to do with your job. You need to talk about, I want to be in a house by this year. I want to build my house by this year. You need to talk about your separate goals, and then you need to talk about your goals you want to accomplish together as a couple. And that's going to be all I have for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I hope that some of you are able to learn a little bit. I'm still learning. I've only been married for a little over 18 months, but from what I know now versus what I knew when I got engaged, wow. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I post another video. And that's gonna be all I have. See you guys later. Bye.